Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Car Reviews podcast here with CollectorCarCanada.ca. The car behind me does not relate to any of the cars on offer in this episode, but being that I'm going to talk about two Porsches, I decided to shoot this in front of another Porsche. But we'll talk first about the non Porsche in this episode. We have a 1961 Chevrolet Corvette Fuelie 4-speed manual. So that's by definition a roadster or a convertible. Comes with two tops. It comes with a removable hard top and the folding soft top. It's finished in ermine white with silver coves, and that comes with a contrasting red interior that really pops. So again, the 4-speed manual, and it's got a 283 cubic inch V8. Not sure if I mentioned the word Fuelie, but that's a really important component of this car. Fuel injected Corvettes in 1961 were quite rare. There were two fuel injected 283s that year, and although the one we're offering has a lower horsepower rating, it has the higher torque rating. So the old saying, you buy horsepower and you drive torque, I hope you'll keep that in mind when you're deciding whether or not to bid on this 1961 Chevrolet Corvette Fuelie 4-speed manual. And that is lot 295 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. Next up, we have a 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo Coupe. This one comes with the Tiptronic, so a 3.6 liter flat six water cooled, the first year of water cooled turbo for 911. And it's a relatively lower mile. It's at about 108,000 kilometers. But the great news is it's already had an engine rebuild back around 26,000 kilometers ago. So at 82,000 kilometers, the engine was rebuilt, and it was rebuilt by a Porsche dealership. So take a look at the work order for that on our detailed listing for lot 294. And again, as I say, it's equipped with the Tiptronic, and some performance parts were used in that engine rebuild. And it's also got some cosmetic goodies that lead us to call it modified. You'll see the word modified in our headline for lot 294, the 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo Coupe. And the last car we're going to show you today is one of our Thrifty Thursdays cars. We don't have a lot of them, but Thrifty Thursday to denote a car that's not perfect, and certainly the seller of this one acknowledges it, so much so that this one is being offered at no reserve. It's lot 296, and it's a 38 years old, 1987 Porsche 928S4 5-speed manual. And again, Thrifty Thursday, no reserve. So the high bidder in our auction, the Thursday following Labor Day, is going to take this car. Normal buyer premiums apply. You can check those out on the How It Works page, linked on every page of the website, CollectorCarCanada.ca. But a few words about the 87 928S4 manual. 1987, the biggest redesign of the 928 in its 1978 to 1995 run. It was the start of the S4, which was succeeded by the GT and GTS, but I don't think there's much debate. 87 and that first year S4 was the biggest watershed moment for the 928. I suppose other than it being named Car of the Year in 1978, its first year. The car we have, though, as I say, imperfect. Take a look at this video. Give it a good critical eye look. The car has some imperfections, but being with the 38-year owner, he's got all his service records on a detailed Excel sheet. You'll see those on our detailed listing. Again, lot 296, black car over burgundy, and the 5-liter V8 up front, water-cooled with a 5-speed manual, getting that power to the rear wheels with the limited slip differential and the sports suspension. Two nice options on this car. And we do have a picture of the Porsche option code sticker, which still sits in the hatch of the car as it was fitted in the factory. European delivery car, which that's a little fun tidbit as well. And I should say that that 2001 turbo I already talked about, it has its original option code sticker still stuck to the underside of the front trunk cover. We got a picture of that on lot 294. So that'll do it for the intro. Here come the 61 Corvette Fuelie, number 295, the 2001 911 Turbo, lot 294, and lastly, the no reserve Thrifty Thursday 87 Porsche 928S4 5-speed manual. That one is lot 296. Thanks for watching. Here come the cars. Hi everyone, and welcome to a very exciting car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Today we have a 1961 Chevrolet Corvette convertible called a Fuelie for its fuel injection, 4-speed manual. It's lot 295 on CollectorCarCanada.ca, and it's finished in ermine white with silver coves, so complementary coves you'll see just as we turn the corner here on the fender and door. And it's not pictured right now, but it's got a removable hard top. We're going to show you that in the video as well. And that removable hard tops offer these glamour shots we're starting with here. So little Corvette history for everybody. The first year of Corvette was model year 1953. And I say this one is a 1961. Something that's interesting about this model year, we see it on this car. We're just getting to the images of it. 61 was the first year of the two tail lights. So they remain today in a somewhat different form. Originally, the tradition was round double taillights on either side, but Chevrolet's moved away from that. But you can see the start of the two taillights on each side, and that particular look stuck around for C3 until C3 rather. It stuck around for C2. So it began in 61. The C2 began in 1963, lasted till 67, and this taillight look stuck around until that time. So we do have a driving video to show you here. So let's take a spin with the owner of the car. He was a bit bashful to us as he described this video to us. He said it's the first time he'd ever chirped the tires in starting out, but I think he was being really ultra careful because I didn't hear the tires chirp on the video here. So I'll pipe down. We can hear the sound of the engine. And I suppose the sound of the wind with the open air car. Beautiful day in BC when this was recorded. And I say BC, the car is being offered in Jordan River, British Columbia, and that's about an hour's drive from Victoria. So continue on with the photos. The car is equipped with both a soft top and the removable hard top. So here are a couple close-ups of the soft top in probably the most sensitive area for a soft top. The folding area behind the occupants and the vinyl window, which looks quite clear in these photos. And there's a good look at the hard top itself in place. The car comes with a stand-on wheels for that matching hard top. And here we have a look at the wheels. So the seller had both the wheels and the tires replaced in either 2022 or 2021. Not sure which of the two, but we've got that information in our detailed listing. And the chrome look inside that lovely wide white wall is a wheel cover. That's not the rim itself. So they've got the knockoff look and the Chevrolet branded centers on those wheel covers. So here's another video of the car. We're just walking around it here with the engine idling and the hardtop in place. So the hardtop itself gives the car almost a different look. So certainly elegant, and not a satisficing maneuver at all to be using that hard top. No sacrifices, no compromise at all in the looks of the car. I was talking about the tail lights. I'll add that the first year of the quad headlights was 1958. You can see them in place on this 61. And while the video is playing, I'll mention there are 2 chips on the car. There's also a scratch on a fender, and there's a loose screw on the driver door card. The other flaw we know about is that although the Wunderbar original radio is in place, it's currently not functioning. So that's a job for the next owner if he wants to hear the tunes while driving this beautiful 61 convertible. So getting to the interior, primarily red with lots of chrome treatment. Here we have a picture of the interior with the soft top up. So again, the soft top from the inside also looks to be in nice condition. That 3-spoke steering wheel is a nice touch. So the red rim with the chrome spokes and horn button in the center. And here's a good look at the instrumentation. A tachometer below that 160 mile an hour speedometer, and some accessory gauges on either side of the tachometer. We've got some closer up photos of those on the detailed listing, but we can see fuel, water temperature. That's all I can see in this photo right now, but as I say, we've got those listed off on the detailed listing. Again, lot 295. And then towards the right, sort of in the center stack, you can see that Wunderbar radio, and below it, well, the big knob in the center is for a defroster, and then below it is the analog clock. Here's a good look at the shifter with the diagram of the reverse and the 4 speeds. And a neat look with the rear view mirror inside the cabin, jutting upward from the dash rather than hanging down from the top of the windshield. And there's a good look from the passenger side with that door open. So nice red matching door cards as well. And even that windshield is a real work of art, the way the curved glass is bordered by the chrome windshield surround. We can see a hint of it in this photo. There's the fuel injection badge on the front fender there. So moving along, we've got a 283 cubic inch V8 engine. Some of the other mechanical highlights of the car: it's got posi traction differential. It's got a dual exhaust in the rear, and the 283 V8 was factory rated at 275 horsepower, which was attained at 5,200 RPM. The other factory rating that's interesting is the 305 pound-feet of torque, and that was accomplished at 4,400 RPM. So the fuel-injected cars are quite rare for 61. This one is one of 118 with this spec fuel-injected engine. And although the other fuel-injected engine is rated at a higher horsepower rating, it's interesting to note that this one has the higher torque rating. So it reminds one of today's horsepower wars and the old-time saying of you buy horsepower and you drive torque. Another interesting note about the engine, the stamping of the engine pad, shown in our gallery, I might add, again, lot 295, with the CR suffix is consistent with the noted engine specs. So we've got the 4-speed manual transmission. There's a look at the underside of the hood, also in very presentable condition. And we've got more than just this one picture of the underside on the detailed listing. Super duper clean underside. And now we've got a video of the car with the soft top up. And while that's playing through, I'll speak to some of the recent maintenance. You can see above the cove that fuel injection emblem on the car. But in 2022, I didn't have this earlier, but new tires and rims in 2022, a fuel tank, fuel sending unit, a fuel neck, fuel insulator pads, and the generator pulley was replaced in 2022. And just before the current 3-year owner got the car in 2021, the air cleaner box was done, replaced the valve covers, fuel injection gaskets and seals, and overhaul of the higher pressure fuel pump front wheel bearings upgraded, and that's a good sense of the recent maintenance on the car. So into the tens of thousands certainly spent in the past 4 or so years. And again, I'll remind you that it's lot 295, the 1961 Chevrolet Corvette convertible Fuelie, 4-speed manual, available in Jordan River, British Columbia, about an hour's drive west of Victoria, BC. That's going to end it for this car review. I want to thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with CollectorCarCanada.ca. Today we have a 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo from the 996 generation, the first year of water-cooled turbo after the naturally aspirated 911 water-cooled started in model year 1998. So again, a turbo. This one is equipped with the Tiptronic, and it checks in at under 110,000 kilometers. And this one is lot 294 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. Finished in seal gray with graphite gray interior, and a lot of carbon fiber appointments from the factory in the interior. We'll get a good look at those when we give you the detailed interior tour. So without further ado, I think what I'll do is I'll start the car now. We'll have a listen to the engine and get into the details of this 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo, lot 294 on CollectorCarCanada.ca. So here comes the start. So the car is somewhat warm. It was driven here too. We're at the site of the Porsche Club of America Upper Canada region, Concours d'Elegance. So there are Porsches everywhere. During the video, you might hear another flat 6 911 drive by as people start to wander away. The awards portion of the day is happening right now. But yeah, we'll move along to, I'll open the engine compartment. You can hear the click now. And let's get a listen to that engine and the exhaust. So I'll change the camera angle. On we go. So here's a glamorous angle of the 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo. But of course, the business end of a 911 is in the back. Always rear engine since introduction back in the mid-60s. So you can see that engine cover is already up. You can probably hear the engine idling in the background. Let's get in close and have a good listen. I have a separate microphone I'll put in to get close to the engine. Now we'll get in close to the exhaust. Two tips on either side. Let's listen to those. So dare I say running nice and clean. So I think that's all we need with the engine running. One last look at that engine cover, nice and clean, and all the labels are intact. Get a good look at the engine. That's all we'll do on this video with the engine. And I think we can cut the engine now and start with our exterior look. I'll keep the camera running till I get that engine cover down. And we'll move along to the exterior tour now. All right, so our 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo is finished in seal gray, and it's presented over a graphite gray interior. 911 turbo aficionados of the 996 generation will probably notice that we've got some big wheels on this car. The sellers upgraded these to two 20-inch wheels. We'll get a good look at the tire sizes in a moment when we get up close, but a matching set of staggered 20-inch 5-spoke black wheels on the car. We've had the car running for a couple of days on the website, and this is the first time I've seen it up close, and I'll tell you, it is nicer in person than I expected from the photos, even better up close. So have a look at the very front of it, and you can see that that front end treatment, if you know normally aspirated 996s, you probably know that that front end is a little bit sportier looking. And we'll move over to the first of the wheels. Now you can see that parking light is still on. The key's still in the car, and I think that stays on for a certain amount of time unless the key's pulled out. So we've got a Nitto tire here. You can see it's sized 235 30 ZR20 with the W speed rating. Model of the tire is down here. I can't read it for the grass, but we'll do that when we get to the rear tire. But W rated 235 30 ZR20 up front here on the Nitto. And the rim, very presentable. I'm not seeing any scrapes at all on the rim. Presented over the cross-drilled rotors with the Porsche branded calipers. I'll keep my eye open for any paint flaws too. As of now, I haven't seen any. You can see here the side mirrors are not color-coded. They're finished in black, but that's a painted surface. That's not a hard plastic surface. The car, I'll take a look at the VIN, but if you want to see the VIN, it is noted certainly on our detailed listing of lot 294. There's a good look. We have the sunroof open. It's a beautiful day here in Niagara Falls, Ontario, at the Porsche Club of America, Upper Canada Region Concours, where we showed the car at our booth. We might hear other Porsches driving by because it's almost home time. Now, another tell that this is a turbo is this opening here to feed air into that rear engine. There's a matching one on the other side, on the passenger side. But as I say, that's a giveaway that we're looking at a turbo. We've also noticed Secure It labels on every pane of glass that we saw. And St. Gobain Secure It up here on the windshield as well. So it looks like it might be an original glass car. The car was optioned with various carbon fiber appointments on the interior. It's had some other carbon fiber appointments added to the exterior, notably this spoiler up above the glass, the rear glass. And then we kind of have a double duty spoiler here where the carbon fiber one has been added to the stock turbo rear spoiler. Now we'll get a good look at the Nitto tire here on the driver's side rear. The model of the tire is Neogen, and we've got a big wide tire here on the rear. If I remember correctly, it's a 305/25 R20. I don't see the size for it right now, although I do see a date code, so manufactured in 2016. And I believe they're mounted in 2017, which would be about 28,000 kilometers ago for these. I do see a mark on the rim here. I suspect, though, that that's from a shop's tire machine, not from a curb. But I do want to show it to you. And a couple of light pieces of pitting here on the wheel where I'm running my finger. Not even worth me pulling the coin out. But you get a good look at the colored Porsche emblem center of the wheel, and then also the cross-drilled rotors with the Porsche branded caliper. ABS, of course. So we're working our way back. There's another carbon fiber look panel here, right underneath the connection for the rear wiper. You see a Porsche emblem on the glass here. And then working our way to the rear of the car, another interesting piece certainly is this turbo emblem to sort of differentiate it from the 996s that are naturally aspirated. Showed you the pipes when we were looking at the or listening to the sound of the idle, but you can see exits on either side with a twin pipe on either side. So the seal gray paint looking quite sharp, and you can see also there are some reverse sensors, motion sensors, so when you get close to an object in reverse, you'll get a little sound from the car to warn you. So there's a good look at the rear quarter view of the car from the passenger side. You can see also that the splitter or the lower fascia of the rear um, below the bumper cover is a little different from this turbo as well, for the turbo as well. And here's a good look at the Nitto Neogen on the passenger side rear. Again, back here we're looking at 305 25 R20 with the W speed rating. And you see also the intake for of the rear wheel well on the passenger side, again feeding air into that engine, which is a 3.6 liter Megster engine, different from the normally aspirated 996 specifically, particularly. And people who know about IMS bearings know why I'm noting that it's very different from the normally aspirated. So a Megster engine here in the turbo. And there's an aero kit down the side. You can see that skirt with gives the car a good aggressive look. And there's a matching black mirror over here on the passenger side. And a look at the open sunroof. You can see here that this 911 is equipped with extensions to connect a roof rack. I don't think there's ever been one connected on this car, but in case you want to put the four-wheel drive of this car to work as a four-season car, know that you've got a rack for your skis and or other equipment. Oh, look at this, another 996 turbo making a departure from the show. And we're finishing our 360 tour. There's a good look at the front of the car with the headlights inspired by the GT1 race car of the late 90s. So that'll about do it for our exterior tour. Let's move on to the inside. So looking at that door card of the driver's door, you start to see some of the carbon fiber appointments. Again, optioned from the factory. We do have the option code sticker that's on the lower or the lower surface of the front trunk cover on the detailed listing. Again, lot 294, and you can find that sticker there with all the options decoded on the detailed listing. Another tell for the turbo is that turbo emblem on the door sill. Again, the car's in the inside has seal gray. There's a good look at it. Seal gray also on part of the steering wheel, but the steering wheel is also treated to the carbon fiber look on the portions that are less likely to be held by hand. So combo on the rim of carbon fiber and leather. You also see on either side of the upper spokes, there are upshift and downshift buttons for the Tiptronic. Down below you can see Porsche branded aluminum pedals as well as an aluminum dead pedal. Over here is where you'd go to open the front trunk if you had a dead battery. With the battery running, here's the release for it, and then the engine cover's released from the same spot. You can see the power seats here, and there is a bit of creasing on the outer bolster of the seat bottom, but otherwise these seats look to be in nice shape, as you'd expect. They're the Porsche sport seats, as you'd expect in a turbo. And then the center console is finished in the carbon fiber, and there's the shifter for the Tiptronic, as well as the D position. You see that M position, and you'd want the shifter over there in the M to use the buttons that are on the steering wheel for shifting, as I was showing earlier. There's a good look at them. Porsche emblem in leather underneath that, or above that airbag. Looking at the gauges, I've just been distracted. The kilometers are a little lower than I expected. So we're going to advertise this one as 109,000 kilometers, because by the time the owner gets this car home today from the concours here in Niagara Falls, it's going to be over 108. So we always like to round those up. You can see a speedometer up to 300 kilometers an hour, indicating a Canadian market car, certainly. And then there's a voltmeter on the far right, oil pressure in bar on the far, I said far right for the voltmeter, I meant far left. Over here on the far right, there's oil pressure in bar, water temperature gauge, as well as the fuel gauge, and a very conspicuously mounted tach in the center. Looks like we got a 6,600 RPM red line going up to 8,000 on the gauges. Up in the top right of the tach, that's where you'd set the clock. And then on the top left, that's just a reset for the trip odometer. Cruise control right down here. And down even further below is the tilt for the steering wheel. Working our way to the center. Oh, I should mention there's a good set of all-weather Porsche mats in the car. So in the center, we've got Porsche stability management here. This operates the spoiler. The spoiler is designed to operate automatically to go up at 120 and then down again at 60, but it can be operated from here as well. And then over on the right, power locks, rear defrost, and the rear wiper. The car does have a Bluetooth deck here. It's by Kenwood, so that's been an upgrade from original. So nav and Bluetooth. A couple of cup holders here in the center, and when they're not in use, they just fold away. And then there you've got climate control here. The air conditioner is blowing cold. The gauge down at the bottom here, I asked the owner about it. He didn't seem to know much about it because he hasn't used it since owning the car. But he understands that that's a timer for accelerating from 150 kilometers an hour to 200 kilometers an hour. Not something he's done much. He's not a track driver. And certainly tooting about the park, we didn't try it either. So the carbon fiber appointments here in the center console, Porsche emblemed handbrake lever. This could be an ashtray, but certainly it hasn't been used for that. Power window controls, and then a center console as well. Some personal items in there that I won't open it up for. And then the passenger seat looks to be in even better condition than the driver's seat. Another Porsche all-weather mat, speaker on the door. And I'll move the front seat up a little bit so we can have a look at the rear seat. All 911s come with rear seats. For adults, they're good in a pinch. Maybe some small children could use it for longer, but pretty tight. But it does have the rear seat, and then a parcel shelf in behind the rear seat. I'll show off too. This headliner is finished in what I suspect is Alcantara. That's what it feels like to me, but don't quote me on that, please. But not a vinyl or your typical fabric. It's certainly an upscale finish. And then the visors each have a mirror and some courtesy lighting in that carbon fiber panel of the sunroof. We'll say a couple of things about the mechanicals of the car as we do one last walk around it. The car we're going to promote it as 109,000 kilometers. At 82,000 kilometers, Porsche Center Edmonton rebuilt the engine, and some performance parts were selected for that rebuild. So that's why we have it as modified in its header on our detailed listing for lot 294. Another thing I won't shy away from is there are a couple of claims on the Carfax. One is noted as minor, the other one isn't described, but both under $8,000. And with a car like this, I'm suspecting pretty minor for both. But yeah, and the tires, again, they were done about the time of the engine rebuild, 27 or so thousand kilometers ago, upgraded to the 20-inch wheels. And one last glamour shot of the 911 Turbo 2001 coupe before we move to some closing thoughts. So that's our look at our 2001 Porsche 911 Turbo. Under 109,000 kilometers with the Tiptronic. Seal gray over graphite gray with lots of carbon fiber appointments on the interior from the factory, and a few more on the exterior that have been added since the factory. Rebuilt engine about 27,000 kilometers ago by a Porsche dealership. Again, the odometer now, it's going to its new owner with under 109,000 kilometers. So this one's lot 294 on collectorcarcanada.ca. Please have a look there, and that's where to take a run at it. That'll about do it for this video. So I want to thank you for watching, and we're going to move on to the next car. Thanks again. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another great car here on the Car Reviews podcast with collectorcarcanada.ca. Today, we're running a car on Thrifty Thursday. It's a feature we run periodically when we got cars that need a little bit of love to get them back to perfect running order. So today we've got a 1987 Porsche 928S4 5-speed manual, 38 years owned. So the owner of this car has had it since 1987. However, he bought it with some kilometers on it. He's not the original owner. It is a Canadian market car, and as I say, it's the desirable 5-speed in the first year of the S4 generation of 928. So the Porsche 928 ran from model years 1978 through 1995, and 1987 saw the biggest change when it went from 928S here in North America, aka 928S3, to this 928S4. So the engine in this one is its original 5-liter V8 32 valve engine. As I say, it's got a 5-speed manual, which is not that common for the 928s. Lots of automatics as the run went on from 78 to 95. And this one, although the owner tells us, and you can see, he sort of corroborates it with a detailed Excel sheet of maintenance over the years. He tells us that the car actually has 252,000 kilometers on it, or just over. However, the odometer reads it with the same number with a 3 at the beginning. Common thing for Porsches in the 80s, the analog ones, having trouble with the odometers. So we're going to be listing this one as true mileage unknown. Per the owner, under 253K, but per the odometer, under 353K. And as well as being a Thrifty Thursday offering, this one is being sold no reserve. So high bidder wins, and it's going to close on the Thursday following Labor Day. One thing I want to remind you of, you're more than welcome to see the cars we have listed on the site. This one is an auction car, so you can use the contact seller button under CCC Vital Info to get in touch with the seller if you want to go see it. So I'm going to do what I normally do at this stage of the video. I'm going to start the car, and we'll listen to the engine and then get further underway with this review video. So here we go with the start. So nice easy start. We can't claim that to be a legitimate cold start. We've had the car out for a couple of driving videos, but when we arrived at the home of the owner, the car hadn't run in 3 days or so, and we shot that video. So we do have a legitimate cold start on the detailed listing separately from this. I mentioned the detailed listing. This car will be lot 296 on collectorcarcanada.ca. So the no reserve, 38 years owned, 1987 Porsche 928S4 5-speed manual. I'm going to hop out and we'll get a good listen to the engine and exhaust. So here I come to switch the camera angle. So a nice glamour shot of the 38 years old, no reserve, 1987 Porsche 928S4 5-speed manual. I already do have a separate microphone in by the engine compartment, so let's get in close for a look and a listen. And now we'll move on back to the rear, listening to the exhaust. So I mentioned earlier how the owners kept a really detailed log on an Excel sheet, which we have on the detailed listing, as you might guess. Um, just getting in on the engine, I recalled what he said about timing belt and water pump, recently done in terms of mileage. Um, and we've got the date of the service there as well. So I think we're done with having the car running. I'm going to cut the engine and we'll start our exterior tour. So we're in the Etobicoke area of Toronto, west end of Toronto, and we found a church parking lot to shoot the video, which is normally a good place other than on Sunday. However, I'm not sure how the car looks under a couple of street light style LED lights. So if you're seeing some discoloration of the car, that is why. But as I get in closer, we're going to try and point out all of the flaws to the car. As I say, it's a thrifty Thursday and a no reserve, so we're not purporting it to be perfect, certainly. The only damage in terms of the body that the owner mentioned to us very early when he owned the car, in the 80s, in fact. While parked, a truck ran into the front bumper cover here, and it was replaced back in the 80s and painted. And you can see there's some paint peeling here on this front bumper cover. There's a look at it with my loonie for perspective. And there's some stone chipping generally on it. I will say overall that the paint could really use a polish. You can kind of see here how it's a bit dull on the hood. However, that fender is looking a little sharper. Typically, this car is stored on the owner's driveway, so that would sort of explain some of that dull finish. There is some denting here on the hood, aluminum hood. It's almost an all aluminum body on the 928s, but there's a look at that relative to the Toonie, and that paint must have been broken because I see some touch-up paint on it. Of course, the 928s had the sort of unique style of pop-up headlights, and you can see those there in the down position. And one thing that's eye-catching for me on this 928S4 is it's got its original 7-slot manhole wheels measuring 16 inches. I say that just because it's a really common modification for 928 owners to switch out those wheels to a more modern Porsche set or even an aftermarket set. So staggered setup on these 928 wheels, and I'm going to show you a tell of those in the rear wheels because they do, if you look closely, look a little different from the fronts. But again, low mileage on these tires. We've got the date of install on the detailed listing. Cooper Xeon RS3As, and they are, the owner said they're V rated. I'm trying to find a speed rating on them. I do see the date code right here in 2017, and you can see the size there, the factory size at 225 50 R16 Cooper tires. And I don't see a speed rating yet, but maybe the angle. Oh, there we go. There's a W speed rating. So 92 W for the speed rating on the Cooper Xeon RS3As. 225s up front on the 16-inch rims. And yeah, there are imperfections throughout this car. It's a driver's car. It's salvageable, certainly, but it's not going to win any concours at this point. But we see some imperfections here at the corner of the window. Same with here at the base of the A-pillar. See some chipping on that flag style mirror. Working our way back. Here's the a good look at the rear tire. So again, Cooper Xeon RS3A. On the rear here, we've got the original size of 245 50 R16. And looking for a date code on these, I see 2017 again. And again, a W rating for these Coopers. Do see some damage here on the body. You probably see it more in my reflection than anything, but this has been scraped up, and the paint's been touched up, I can see, but there is some up and down on that rear quarter panel. So working our way back, the factory spoiler still in place, and the two bumperettes, I think they're missing some covers here. So you can see structurally they're sound, but ordinarily you'd see a couple of plastic covers over those bumperettes. Looks like the original single exit for the exhaust here. And this one was equipped with the no charge option of the 928S4 decal. There's a good look at that spoiler. In case that looks unfinished, it's actually unpainted from the factory, just that poly finish. So we're working our way around the car here. Oh, I didn't show you the difference in the rim. So we've got kind of a convex style that juts inward on the rear rim, whereas you don't see that same convex edge on the fronts. So that's just an indicator that the rear ones are a little wider, but a matching set of the Coopers all the way around. So continuing our way around this certainly imperfect 928S4. One thing I'll show you, this you can see this decal to indicate the unleaded fuel only. That's a little sharper now, I think. That is bilingual, so that is an indication of a Canadian market car. Incidentally, the owner told us that the first owner, who owned it for less than a year, took European delivery of this car. So he flew over to Germany, drove around on the Autobahn a little bit before it was shipped back to Canada for proper delivery from his dealer here in the GTA. So a little more scuffing here on this passenger door and fender. And the mirror on this side is about the same condition as that we saw for the driver. Car is equipped with a sunroof, so we have it open for the video. I'll mention that one of the flaws listed in our detailed listing is that the passenger window switch is not operative currently, so that's why that window's up. And there's another good look at the car. So this car, I would start certainly with a polish to see what we've got in terms of paint. But as I say, this car's not going to win the Conquer Award, but it runs nicely and has been serviced over the years. It's a former daily driver, as you might expect with that kind of mileage on it. So that'll conclude our exterior tour. Let's move into the inside. All right, beginning the interior tour. You can see the interior is a burgundy and consistent with the exterior of the car. It's not perfect, decently presentable. The driver's seat shows some perforations in the bolsters, in the outer bolsters. You can see those there, but otherwise the leather seems to be in pretty nice shape. Perforated inserts, and then solid leather for the bolsters. And you can see there's a carpeted bottom on these 928 doors, and there's even a separate storage compartment on the door. A couple of speakers up here. One missing piece is this, there would be a rounded knob to go, sort of a rubberized knob to go over this hard metal knob, but this is the control for the power mirrors, which still functions, but it is missing that rubberized piece. You can see here how the driver's seat is a 12-way seat. Standard on the 928s was an 8-way adjustable seat. And this item here is for heat. So lumbar control and heat here on the driver's seat. And you get a look at what might just be an original floor mat, showing some wear certainly, but looking pretty authentic. And then up above, below the pod, there's a storage area there. So climbing in and getting a look at the instrumentation, you can see that the car is equipped with a speedometer that maxes out at 300 kilometers an hour. Canadian market car, so it's got the metric reading. Working our way from the left, you can see coolant temperature over on the left, a fuel gauge, and then to the right of the speedo, a tachometer that maxes out at 7,600 with the red line at about 6,100. Oil pressure in the German measure of bar, and voltmeter on the far right. You can see the car is equipped with cruise control as well as headlight washers. And then in the center, we've got our climate control. Another tell of the Canadian market car is that the temperature readings are in Celsius. The original Blaupunkt AM FM cassette. The owner advises that it's inoperative right now. He suspects it's a fuse. We didn't test it. And digital clock, which is, it's not set to the proper time, but it's been running since we got to the car, so we can advise that that's functional. I expect the adjustment. You can see buttons on either side of the lower end of the clock to adjust it to actual time. Then there's a ashtray here, and then the 5-speed shifter, leather boot, and a leather shift knob. And then the center is where you find the controls for the windows. I mentioned already, but again, the passenger side window switch is non-functioning right now. Second from the right is the rear wiper control. Second from the left is the sunroof control, which we operated earlier to get the roof open for the video. And then on the left is the driver's side window. Probably got them in the picture, but I didn't say very deliberately that the dash is suffering from some cracking. So there's a good look at that for you. And I'm going to walk over to the passenger side of the car. I'm not sure if it's equipped with the heat on the seat or the 12 or 8-way seats, so we'll take a look at that and find that out for you. So, oh yeah, sure enough, 12-way over here on the passenger side, as well as the heat. And this, believe it or not, is a remote release for the hatch. However, the car comes with a hatch dedicated key. I'm not sure about this side. We have the hatch open, so I can't test it right now, but the driver's side release is not functional. So over here on the passenger side, there's another one of those shelves. A good sized glove box with oodles of personal items in it right now, so I'm not going to open it for the sake of the video. There's one little storage compartment that's only openable from the driver's side. I didn't show you, so I'll zip back over here to show it to you. And here it is right here. So this is intended for cassette storage, would you believe? Because the car was equipped with a cassette deck from the factory. I can see another imperfection on the door of that cassette storage console. And the rear seats are in place, not for large adults on long trips, but in a pinch they can be used. And you can see there are speakers here, as well as lap belts for the 2 rear occupants. And a storage container there as well. I've already got the hatch opened up. You can see the matching carpet for it. But I opened it up both to show that the option code sticker, it remains with the car and visible. And over on this side is where you find a spare tire change and a change kit. Below that spare tire is where the battery is housed in these 928s. So I'll close that up so you can get a good look at the nice clean carpet here in the hatch. And this cargo net actually brilliantly hooks onto this so that, in addition to the Velcro here, the carpet is held down by these hooks, the hook and eye system there. So nice and presentable. So there's a good look at the interior from the rear of this 38 years owned, no reserve, 1987 Porsche 928S4 5-speed manual. On to some closing thoughts. Hi everyone. Before I continue, this is not the subject car. Our original closing thoughts portion of the video went somewhere into Neverland into cyberspace. So we found another black 928S4 to stand beside to finish off the video. So that's a good look previously at lot 296, our 38 years owned 1987 Porsche 928S4 5-speed manual. Again, it's a thrifty Thursday at no reserve. So the Thursday following Labor Day is when that auction ends. And the highest bidder that day at 1:45 p.m. Eastern Time is going to take the car home. Just a recap of some of the performance specs. Again, a 5-liter front-mounted water-cooled V8 engine with 32 valves. Factory rating, it produced 316 horsepower. It's made it to that 5-speed manual transaxle, driving the rear wheels. And I just looked up MSRP for the car. I could only find US specs, but over $62,000 for the MSRP in US dollars. And that's without the special sports suspension this one has. We do note that in the detailed listing. Again, lot 296 on Collector Car Canada. That's going to about do it for this video, though. I want to thank you for watching. We're going to move on to the next car.